Hi, my name is Jay Oza. I teach, mentor, and coach people on public speaking so that they can give winning high stakes speeches, whether it's one on one in a job interview, or in front of a small group at a business or a sales meeting, or before a large crowd at a conference. Today I want to talk about high stakes. What exactly do I mean? And it's something that I use in my intro, but I never really explained it. So people get confused as far as, Jay, if it's high stakes, how do I deal with it? This is something I have to win. What do I do? How do I handle this? So I'm going to explain what I mean by this. And the idea is probably something you're familiar with. It's something that golfers and other people use all the time. Briefly, what high stakes I mean is this: you raise the stakes high before, in what I like to think of as a pre-game. But when you're speaking, you've got to just do the opposite and lower the stakes. Okay? Because if you keep the stakes high when you're speaking, then you're going to get nervous and you're not going to perform and you're not going to achieve your objective. And, put it simply, you're not going to win. And then the post game, you can then evaluate yourself whether the stakes in pregame were high enough and how did you then lower the stakes during the game so that you came across as natural. Now, to explain this, I'm going to take a look at a particular golf example. And this is a famous example. It occurred in 2009 in one of the golf major tournament called the PGA Championship. And in the final round, it pitted Tiger Woods versus an unknown South Korean player by the name of Y.E. Yang. He was a player that was, I think, ranked over 100, and he's playing against one of the greatest golfers of all time. Up to that point, when Tiger Woods was ahead in the final round, he had gone 14 and 0. 14 and 0. That means he had never lost when he was ahead in the final round. As it turned out, Y.E. Yang played the golf of his life and defeated Tiger Woods. Afterwards, they asked Y.E. Yang, hey, how did you do it? And he was honest. He said, look, I was lucky. I knew Tiger's reputation, but I had to stick to my game and I just focused on it. And and he said something interesting. And he said, it's not like playing Tiger Woods on a golf course was like being in an octagon where he was going to beat him up or swing at him with a 9 iron. He said there wasn't really much at stake for him. I just had to go and play golf. So what he's saying here is that I'm sure prior to the tournament he wanted to win it, so the stakes are high. I mean, PGA Championship is one of the majors. It's one of the top four golf tournaments that all PGA professionals want to win. It establishes you among the best, among the top. When you win a major, you get recognized for being one of the top golfers that's playing on the tour, and maybe if you win few of them, one of the top golfers of all time. So it's an important tournament. So I'm sure he had to raise the stakes. But then when he was on the course playing, he lowered the stakes. As he said, there wasn't much at stake. He was just going to play golf. It wasn't like he was going to, this was not a battle for death or anything. And I think the same idea applies when you are giving a speech. Before, raise the stakes. That it is one of the most important speeches you're ever going to give. And then when you are on the stage giving a speech, lower it. Hey, what's the worst that can happen? You're not going to get killed. It's just a speech. So you lower the stakes and say, at this point, I'm just going to go out and give the best I have, and who cares what people think. So you lower the stakes and just be natural. And you know what? It works. We tend to freeze up, or the C word, choke, when we raise the stakes during the performance. And it's impossible to do well because the way our brain works, suddenly your thinking brain isn't active, is activated. It's the amygdala that's activated. Amygdala doesn't think, and suddenly it's putting stress on you, and you're not going to do something well when it comes to speaking. You suddenly get anxiety, and you're not going to come across well. Your facial gestures, your body movement, everything is going to indicate that you are suddenly have been gripped with some kind of anxiety or fright, and that means the audience will notice it. So you don't want the audience to ever notice it. So raise the stakes before, lower the stakes before you get on the stage, and keep it low, and then afterwards you can evaluate it. Now I know this is easy to say, but this is what you have to strive to do. This is what, when people say the only way you can get good at public speaking is by doing it more and more. Well, sometimes we don't have that opportunity to give a lot of speeches. I mean, that's a lot of work to give a lot of speeches. So what do? You have to practice this like I'm doing in front of a camera. Raise the stakes like this is an important video that I have to make. Then when I get on front of the video, I lower the stakes. Like, hey, if it doesn't work, what's the worst that can happen? I can re-record it. If it doesn't work, I can re-record it again. So I'm lowering the stakes. I'm not worried if this doesn't look well or doesn't come out well. Hey, you'll never see it. So I just lowered the stakes. And you got to do the same when you are giving a speech in front of people. Now, in the next video, I'm going to talk about how do you view an audience? Because that's another thing, the question you might be asking, well, but Jay, what about the audience? They're there. What do I do with it? So in the next video, I'm going to talk about that. How do you deal with an audience when the stakes are high? So in this video, to close it out, I said to handle the stakes, you raise it before you're ever speaking. So that means preparation. Like, otherwise, why would you prepare if the stakes are not high, right? And one of the things I do coaching is high stakes speaking. You raise the stakes to prepare, whether it's 1 week before, 2 weeks, or whatever. Okay, it's up to you, depending on the stakes. But once you're on the stage, boom, no stakes. That's it. No stakes. You just done all the work. Now you're just going to perform. Be relaxed. There's not much you can do. And at the end, what's the worst that can possibly happen? It's like you got to have that attitude. Otherwise, you're just not going to come across well. So this way, mentally, you're just now going to be putting out the best performance you can without worrying about how it goes. Okay, I hope this helps, because this is a question that keeps coming up when I'm coaching clients. Like, Jay, what do you mean by high stakes, and how do I deal with it? Like, do I bring it on a stage if it's high stakes? And I say, no, you definitely don't want to do that. When you're speaking, it's no stakes. The stakes is before. Once you're speaking, no stakes, because not much you can do about it anyway. I hope this helps, and try it. That's what I do. And I wanted to. Okay, thank you for watching, and good luck.